Hello and welcome to Final Fantasy XIV Story Mode. It's not really a story mode that you can like activate or deactivate, but that's kind of what this channel is about. Anywho, we're talking to Morgan. We are just southeast of the Four Arms area, which I believe is also, was it Rasa? Sara? It's a four-letter word of some kind. We're doing Heart of Ice. You're as cold as ice. The campfire was so cozy, I must have fallen asleep, Kupo. But do you feel how the winds have shifted? They will have borne Hraesvelgr back to the skies above Zenith, I'm sure of it. This is your chance to climb to the highest floor of the palace and summon him with a toot on that shiny horn. So, I'll be heading back now, if it's all the same to you. Good luck, Kupo. It was nice knowing you. It's not ominous at all. Kupo Morgan flies back to the kind of east, a little bit northeast. We are going northwest toward the tower or structure, whatever it is. All I know is that it has an outside of the tower ramp that we take. I think it's the same place I'm thinking. Yeah, definitely. And there's also a Ethernet shard, a summoning stone for Chocobos. Okay. Alright, we'll get the Etherite, whatever. You wanna whack a guy, whack a guy, off a guy, whack off a guy. I always love that Family Guy line from Peter when he's nervous, talking to the mob lieutenant, I would say. Definitely not boss. Kind of lieutenant-ish. Okay, so there's a couple, it's like a ramp and then some stairs and there's a lot of rubble. But then you gotta jump over all the rubble or go around it to reach the other ramp that is going finally up the, I guess, central kind of tower thing. There used to be, I think I probably mentioned this previously in other videos, but in Final Fantasy XI there were, when going from Bastok or Sandioria or Windurst to Juno and renting a Chocobo, you had the option sometimes to, like, oh no, actually, sorry, just renting a Chocobo, period, because they weren't direct paths. You weren't limited to a path. But you could choose sometimes if you were going to Juno, you say, or nearby, you say, oh yeah, I'll return this Chocobo to Juno for you. And then you were timed. You were timed on how long it took you to get from that town to, the zone into Juno. Which is like the central city, basically. The hub for a long time. And I always beat it. I always understood the fastest route. I always understood basic geometry, where like the straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. It's actually a fun song. I think it's called Between 2 Points by Glitch Mob. I like it a lot. The shortest distance between 2 points is a line from me to you, from me to you. Anyway, that's about kind of what it sounds like, but it's also way cooler. But anyway, so I like to try to find the shortest distance as I'm traveling. Sometimes I care, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't, especially because it doesn't really matter. Anyway, we're at the destination. We click it, we get a cutscene. You, Estinien, Asael, and Elfino are here. You hold out the horn a bit, and then put it to your lips and blow. The skies seem to darken and fog over. Actually, sorry. It says, mortals, why do you disturb my solitude? This is Hraesvelgr's voice. A giant gray dragon with kind of bird wings, actually. Usually dragon wings are pretty like scaly, like bat wings kind of, but these are feathery. Very, very feathery. And upon closer inspection, kind of more silver, white, gray kind of motif.
Hraesvelgr.
Beautiful dragon, actually. I like it a lot. Thou speakest the name of a creature that but awaiteth the release of oblivion. Leave me. This is the translation of the Draconic.
By the 12.
Or Draconian?
Mine ears hear the tongue of dragons, yet the meaning rings clear within my mind. How can that be?
Is it because a sail is near?
Hraesvelgr, do you not remember me? 'Twas I whom you found in Dravania. I who glimpsed the truth.
Or because I have the Midgard Sormer like aspect kind of companion minion thing?
The truth about your past.
Maybe?
About Shiva.
Do not speak her name, mortal. He roars.
But speak it I must. I have summoned Shiva's soul from the beyond and offered myself as her vessel. She has made her heart known to me.
Foolish girl, thinkest thou my beloved spirit hath descended from the heavens? That the secrets of her heart are thine to know?
I have surrendered mine to her. Do you not see, my love? I am Shiva reborn.
I didn't assume that about you. I mean, but, Gullible fool, the light but illuminated the past for thee. It did not grant thee omniscience. The spirit thou hast summoned belongeth not to Shiva. 'Tis but a shade conjured by thine own fancy. In an age long past, mine own kin were guilty of like folly. Beguiled by the Dark One's lies, they attempted to resurrect a king amongst worms. Yet the divinity they called forth merely borrowed the semblance of my fallen brood brother. Such gods are not summoned, but created. Phantoms spun from the threads of misplaced faith.
Then the spirit that answered me.
Was but thy dream of Shiva. Thy soul hath been corrupted by a deity of thine own making, child. Isael falls to her knees. Kind of like her whole world has been shaken by this exchange.
Be that as it may, Lord Hraesvelgr, Izel's desire to heal the rift between man and dragon is real, and it has borne us this far. We would spare both our kind and yours the ravages of this senseless war. Pray join your voice to ours in a call for peace and forgiveness.
The tale of thy kind is one of avarice, treachery, and death, and thou wouldst speak to me of peace? Hark thee, mortal, to the naked truth. Then tell me thou deservest forgiveness. And the screen goes dark. I'm assuming we're being treated to some kind of memory of his. 1200 years ago, my beloved Shiva's sacrifice served to bring an end to the war twixt man and dragon, paving the way for an age of peace and cooperation. 2 centuries of harmony were to follow, during which time the Elysian learned much about us, not least that the eyes of a great worm are the wellspring of his strength. 'Twas out of the selfish desire to possess this strength that King Thordan, then conspired to undo all that our peoples had achieved together. Wait, there's really not so much to describe on screen, by the way. It's just like pictographs, basically. Like a crude likeness of a king with a sword and a crude likeness of a dragon, and yeah. With the aid of his Leal, L-E-A-L Knights, K-N-I-G-H-T-S, Leal Knights. I don't know what the hell that means. What the fuck is Leal? That most noble of Elizin lured my brood sister Ratatoskr, Ratatoskr, R-A-T-A-T, Ratat, O-S-K-R, Ratatoskr, into an ambush and took from her that which he craved. The screen goes dark. I'm assuming that's about the eye, you know. Fain would I strike the image from my mind, yet still the scene doth linger of my brood sister's tattered corpse, defiled by her Elizin allies. They had torn out her eyes and feasted upon them in the manner of wild beasts. I'm hoping that my voice is carrying over the dragon speak, which you can't understand anyway. I've thought about muting it, but I think you would at least like to hear whatever. Yet that was not all, for from their bloody banquet the fiends had gained strength beyond that of mortal men. Even now I labor to comprehend the enormity of their betrayal. Nidhogg was the first to learn of the atrocity, and he took to the skies, hungry for vengeance. But though he slew Thordan and some few of his knights, their fellow butchers knew only too well where to aim their spears, and with now practiced savagery, they set about my brood brother, sending him flailing from the field. Such is the truth the Holy See would keep hidden. Such was the beginning of the Dragon Song War. 'Tis a song my kind shall ne'er forget. Even should 10,000 years pass and Ishgard crumble into dust. It's E'-E-N, but I don't know why you'd ever fucking say that. Ian, even. Do you know that apostrophes are like replacing? When you have an apostrophe in a word, it's replacing letters. Even on contractions, like haven't is H-A-V-N apostrophe T. It's replacing the O. Have not.
How convenient that it should absolve your kind of all responsibility. But tell me, dragon, why should I believe your version of events?
I'll read that again because I fucked up some of it. Your tale bears scant resemblance to the one I was taught. How convenient that it should absolve your kind of all responsibility. But tell me, dragon, why should I believe your version of events? What thou choosest to believe is immaterial. The betrayal that yet haunts mine every waking moment is no less than the truth to my kind. It sounds like my truth versus the truth. And Nidhogg meaneth for Thordan's people to suffer for this sin till the end of days. That which thou imaginest a war of extinction is but a punishment, a siege of the spirit. Hast thou not seen those who tire of the torment, those who abandon their own and side with dragonkind?
Ishgard's so-called heretics.
Know that all the traitors' progeny bear a trace of Ratatoskr's essence, but a single sip of our blood is enough to awaken it.
Then the seed lies within us.
'Tis for this reason that those who abandon their loyalties are rewarded with a drink, and thus are they transformed to join the ranks of Nidhogg's ever-growing army as newborn dragons. One by one, through death or defection, my brood brother shall account for all of the betrayer's children.
Ye gods, I have borne witness to such a transformation.
Yep.
looked on as a heretic assumed the shape of a dragon. I imagined it's some manner of Dravanian enchantment.
That was like the fake Inquisitor, I believe, that morphed into a dragon in front of us. We had to kill him.
But if any Ishgardian, regardless of allegiance, has such potential within them, 12 forgive us. To think of all the dragons we've slain.
I mean, if they were attacking us and they chose to like drink the dragon blood of their own free will, defending yourself is legal in frickin' everywhere, basically. So, I don't know. I wouldn't feel bad. I don't feel bad. It's also a video game, so that's partially why I don't feel bad. But there will always be some, of course, who choose to fight until the bitter end, like thee, Dragoon. But struggle as thou might, thy youthful vigor will be spent ere thou reachest 80, and Nidhogg shall remain to torment thine offspring.
Oft have I wondered why Nidhogg did not simply raze Ishgard to the ground. Now I have my answer. He has no intention of winning the Dragonsong War, for it is no war at all, but vengeance. An eternal requiem sung for his murdered sister.
And every, one by one, every citizen of Ishgard, do they have to be of the lineage of the king that took the eye from Ratatoskr? Is that the name? Or just everybody in Ishgard, if they drink the dragon's blood, a dragon's blood, as they turn into a dragon? I wasn't paying specific attention to like the exact specifics of it, but yeah, whatever. Thou hast the right of it, Dragon Slayer. Comprehendest thou now the futility of thy quest?
I have not come this far only to admit defeat. We can still return the eye to Nidhogg and beg forgiveness for our ancestors' crimes. Mayhap our words will sway him.
Stubborn child, thou thinkest in mortal terms. Our perception of time is too broad for thee to grasp. 'Tis a simple matter for thee to offer thine apologies. Thou didst not perpetrate the crime. Despite thy visions, the deeds of history seem distant to thee. If you have seen The Face of Smaug, it's pretty close to that actually, but it's, silver white, like kind of mostly whitish, off-whitish, silverish, grayish. Has, if you think of like mammoth tusks, he's got those tusks. He also has kind of like the ram horn sheep kind of tusks that go out. Well, they're out to the side and they curve around to face front, like the tip facing front and up a little bit. But yeah, he's got four wings, very feathery, all pretty much white, silver and gray, kind of mostly tinted white. 4 legs. It's a beautiful dragon. I love dragons, actually. I used to collect statues. For a Wyrm such as Nidhogg, however, that history is yet part of his present, as fresh as the blood that did gush from Ratatoskr's wounds. How could he not be driven mad? 'Tis only by the calming embrace of Shiva's soul that mine own fury hath not consumed me. But let us speak no more of what is done. My faith in your kind is spent, and I would be alone. He roars, jumps into the sky, and flies away in all of his grandeur and splendor. God, why have I never watched these videos and cutscenes and stuff before? Because beautiful. Well, I was in a hurry to level. Hraesvelgr was every bit as awe-inspiring as I imagined. His voice fairly dripped with power, the will behind his words so undeniable that it transcended my ignorance of the dragon's tongue. 'Tis but a pity that I misliked what he said. So far did we travel, even unto the very heavens themselves, only to be dismissed like unruly children, and far from mitigating this humiliation, the hidden truths we have learned serve only to prove that our grand mission of peace was destined to fail from the first. Nothing will deter Nidhogg from his course. Heart of Ice is complete. I could. Okay. Where's my pants? Where are my pants? Oh no. Crit 50, determination 35 for Paladin. Eh. How about the Lancer? Turn those off. I got strength will be a little bonus. So crit 34, determination 49. Oh, yeah, I'll take those. Sure. That's an upgrade. Okay, let's keep going. Right, no, hold on. Let's make sure that we update our gear set here. Make sure. Okay, Alphino, the Wyrm's Lair. Cutscene again. I'm probably gonna have to talk here, aren't I?
Well, what do you propose we do now?
Cool.
I, for one, am intent on continuing to the east.
What is there to be found in the east?
Nidhogg's lair, the Eyrie, is said to lie in that direction. And the eye tells me he is near.
You cannot still mean to slay him.
You cannot still mean to stop me. I have been true to my word and aided you in this fool's errand with Hraesvelgr.
Okay, let's talk about this. The errand to try to gain the aid of Hraesvelgr based on Isael / possibly Shiva, but I guess not now, and her bond to him, like to have Hraesvelgr kind of beseech Nidhogg's peace, his cessation of the attacks, and offer an apology, even though we weren't the ones that wronged Nidhogg or the dragon kind. I think that was a valiant effort. But now that we know that Nidhogg is not going to be stopped until, I guess, all of Ishgard is turned or destroyed, I'm siding more and more with Estinien, but it doesn't matter. We'll see how things kind of pan out here, how they play out.
But your efforts at parley have come to naught, Lady Iceheart. I would see Ishgard saved, and for that, Nidhogg must die.
When someone's rage and vengeance and bloodlust, when all of those drives are so consuming that they cannot respond logically to reason, like Nidhogg is sacrificing tons and tons of his dragon kind to fulfill his bloodlust and revenge, his revenge, and destroying Nidhogg would probably be the best thing to save both Ishgardians, Ishgard in general, and dragonkind. It's like killing a tyrannical leader. It's like killing Hitler in some ways, although, not much of a comparison to Hitler versus, Nidhogg, but it's similar to that. When you have a leader and everybody is blinded and or controlled by that leader, and that leader is destroyed, sometimes that can just... I think there was a lot of things... There's some lore with Native American tribes that, if you killed their leader in an attack, they would stop. And I'm probably getting this from bad sources, but anyway, that's kind of my thought process right now.
With the tale of our ancestors' vile betrayal yet ringing in your ears, you speak of continuing this war?
Nay, lady. I would but pierce its vengeful heart. When Nidhogg dies, this war shall die with him.
A moment, Estinien. You yourself spoke of the Great Wyrm's strength, that you believed him powerful enough to raise your city to the ground. How then are we few to challenge him? Even behind the stout walls of Ishgard, with an army of knights manning the defenses, our victory would be hard won. Yet you propose to contend with the beast in his own lair.
In close combat, this will afford us an advantage.
He holds out the eye.
And with two Azure Dragoons working in unison, who can say what might be possible?
I think he's talking about me as the second Azure Dragoon. I don't know how the quest text would have, or like the, but I don't know yet.
But such speculation is meaningless if we cannot even find the Wyrm. Our first task must be to seek out Nidhogg's lair.
I do wonder if that voiceover would change and the text would change if I wasn't a level 50 plus Dragoon, like having passed all the parts where you are being tutored by Estinien, or like I think he's got your rival for a bit, and then anyway, I'm curious now.
The story of this nation grows bloodier by the moment. Must death always be answered with more of the same?
Such is the way of things, I fear. I shall consider it a miracle if mine armor is not stained crimson ere this conflict is ended.
That I should be blinded by my own lies. Everything I believed, everything I thought I was, gone. All gone.
Leave her. Your words will not reach her now. And we have not the time to wait for her to gather up the pieces of her shattered faith.
Okay, that I disagree with. I think Ysayle is a powerful ally, if nothing else. She thought she was doing good, and we are a good adventurer. We are a good champion of the light, warrior of the light. And we should, like, our instinct to help her was correct. Turning back to her was correct. But, as quests go, she is left up here. What false god is this Shiva? What manner of phantom have I welcomed into my heart? If you click on her, there's no like button that's like saying you should click on her to advance this quest, but sometimes you can click on people and they'll say things that are interesting. But yeah, we are left now to, well, we could take the 100 Gil teleport to Zenith, since we have unlocked that Aetheryte. But it's only a few seconds to run down that outside ramp, jump down a few other kind of... Oh, I can't go that way, can I? Dang it. Wait, can I go this way? Double dang it. If there's any chance you could fall off a ledge in this game to basically your death, like into infinite space, which is, you know, this zone is just islands floating in the clouds, just like that other zone. So I guess there's a lot of chance, and they just don't let you. They don't let you clip into it. Like in WoW, you fucked up, you fell into infinite abyss, you died. Like, deal with it. And I agree with that. I don't agree with, but that's a lot of programming, I suppose, to like, hey, this is what happens when you do this, and sorry, you know. But yeah, the programming can be an issue, I suppose. So you're walking into a big old, one of those big old purple circle zones, where we are greeted with a shield dragon in waiting and an amphipter in waiting. I have no idea how to pronounce it. A-M-P-H-I-P-T-E-R-E. Amphipter. And then they're done. They're gone. And I guess, yeah, there's a whole lot more Chocobo running to do here. Yeah, shit, I can't. Like, once again, I'm clipped out of kind of jumping that ledge. Is what it is, I suppose. Something to deal with in this game. It's not usually an issue. In this zone, I think this is the first zone where I really felt it to be annoying. But in most zones, there's not that. There's been one or two places, and my videos have caught it, where it's just like, oh, why can't I jump off of this thing to this place? Whatever. But we are back. Oh, Asa. That's what it was called. A-S-A-H. So we're running back through Asa. Asa? I don't know. Like NASA, but not. Yeah, anyway. And then more and more to the east of Asa. Kind of, I guess this is the way we had to come in the first place to get to Asa from Magholm. We got some more dragons here to kill, apparently. A couple moss dragons. I'm gonna put a dot on that one. Although there's really no point to the dots at all, aside from getting the buff, the 10% damage buff from the second in that skill chain kind of chain. Chain of skills. Chain of weapon skills. I do miss. I've said it before, but I loved the skill chains in Final Fantasy XI. They were beautiful and they were fun to coordinate. I really did get a kick out of looking at the skill chain chart, finding out what my party members had. A lot of the times lamenting that I was playing with a warrior who was using a fucking dagger or sword instead of an axe, but a lot of times if you had a party member that was using a weapon that wasn't common or wasn't the A+ weapon, because all the weapons were rated in that game, still are rated in that game. Every class, every job. Warrior was A+ in Great Axe and A-, I believe, in Axe, and then like B something in Sword, and down the list from there. But like Thief was an A+ in Dagger, and Ninjas were like an A+. I think we're actually probably A- for some reason in Katana, and Samurai were A+ in Great Katana, and it was just your rating in that weapon determined how quickly you skilled up, and you had to skill up those weapons. So like you would have to hit something and swing at something to get a skill point, or like a partial skill point, because you only got like 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 sometimes. It's not 0.5 sometimes, but very rarely. In those weapons, each time you hit or miss, and you would have to get, it's an annoying system. It's a very annoying system. Like WoW did away with it back when Lich King came out. I think they patched it a little bit into Lich King, that you didn't have to do that anymore. Or maybe it was after Lich King, but I don't remember for sure. I remember in Lich King I had to level up certain weapons. But anyway, sorry. I'll continue. I'll finish this stuff. We got one more dragon. One of those red amphitheaters, I'm going to call them. Amphit. Oh, there's two of them, sorry. Amphipters. But I got Pegasus with me. Not only can Pegasus put a region... Oh, I got one more. This one's purple and bigger. Not only can Pegasus put a region on me, he does some extra damage. He can also just straight up heal here and there if necessary. We are working our way toward the Wyrm's Lair. Actually, sorry, that's just the quest's name. I believe we're trying to go toward the Airy, A-E-R-Y. Which is kind of a common word used to describe dragons kind of keeps up in the air. We'll turn in this quest. There's another quest here by a Moon-Eyed, or given by a Moon-Eyed Moogle that will be an ether, what's it called? Etheric current. But here we go. Estinien. Cutscene.
Is that it?
We are atop a not very tall building. We went up like one flight of stairs, and we're just on this like flat, square, rectangular kind of surfaced building with some railings, all stone, and we're looking over the edge and up. And up above us is another floating kind of island thing, but this one looks like it kind of exploded a little bit, but like stopped.
That would be the Airy. I feel Nidhogg's presence through the eye, his caustic hatred gnawing at my soul.
So it seems like this island kind of thing exploded outwards a bit, but like stopped after the pieces of the explosion traveled a couple football fields. So they're kind of like gravitating. They're just kind of floating in the air around it, as if, you know, in stasis more or less. But they are kind of moving a tad bit here and there, kind of just floating, like turning and twisting, but not moving inward, outward, or around. So in their space, just twisting in their space. And then the main island is kind of cone-shaped, I suppose, in a way, but very craggy, rocky, protrudy, not a uniform cone. And there's a lot of like cloud and purple, kind of purple lightning flashy clouds around it as well, obscured by all this cloud space around it.
'Twould seem the death of his consort has put him on guard. Mark how he wards his lair with tempestuous winds.
I think his consort was the dragon that we killed. What was that in? I don't recall where we killed that dragon. Or the name of it.
A similar barrier once barred our entrance to the primal Garuda's domain, until we discovered the means by which it could be penetrated.
It's not that similar. This is just free-floating cloud. There's no vortex. There's no gale force winds. It's just stagnant cloud, but whatever.
Mayhap it is time we called upon Master Garland. It will be just like the good old days, no?
Yeah, sure. Similar, I suppose. Alright, I don't care enough to like redo that. I'm just gonna take the Gil. It's item level 133 stuff. It only increases my main stat by 1. It's like, whatever, it don't matter. Okay, that's the end of this video. Possibly the end of the videos I'm doing tonight, period, but we shall see how I feel in a minute. Get some cheese first, just as a snack. But I'll see you later.